Hey, good morning. Thanks for streaming with us. We really appreciate it. Of course, we'll be talking about Alberto. Alberto's already been downgraded to a tropical depression and will continue to weaken. I'll show you the track of that here coming up in just a minute. Okay, I'll let you know what that means for our weather as well. For the most part, it's going to be humid, mostly cloudy, little on the warm side with a chance for some scattered rain. So let's get to the forecast here. Okay, Alberto now, this is the latest advisory. This is the 10 a.m. advisory. Just came out just a little bit ago. Winds at 35 miles per hour. That's the maximum sustained winds, and that is probably a stretch at this point. Moving to the west at 20 miles per hour, almost at 18 miles per hour, and there's some big mountains there in Mexico. So here in about another 10 hours or so, you won't even really know that it's there, other than just a bunch of rain with that system as it moves through Mexico, but it's moving at a really fast clip. Okay, so continues to move to the west and weakens. Now, that's a long way away from us here in San Antonio, but it has had an impact on the Texas coast, quite an impact. I'll show you that here in just a second. All right, temperature right now, wow, we're sitting at 79 degrees, normal low, 75, actually 73. Our low this morning was 75, pretty close. Look at the record high. This is 2 days in a row back in 2023 that we hit 105. Thank goodness we're not hitting that. With this cloud cover, we've got a little break. Yesterday's high was 82. Our high today, I think, is going to be about mid-80s, maybe 87, somewhere around there. We might see a little sunshine today, but if we see some sun, clouds will build in really quick because it is so humid. The convective temperature today is in the lower 80s. So once we start hitting the low 80s, even if we have a little sunshine, we'll have more cloud cover. So we'll just call it cloudy to mostly cloudy. Also, we've got another chance for some rain today. Yesterday at the airport, almost 0.8 of an inch, and I think another 1/4 of an inch, another 1/2 inch for today. So we're picking up some much needed rain. That's a good thing. All right, here's the latest radar. Here's what's going on. I'm going to kind of move this around a little bit. But you can see that the rain shield associated with Alberto is now pushed west. Now it's almost completely out of the viewing area. All that's left over now is this tropical air mass feed off of the Gulf of Mexico and just scattered rainfall. Now, just because it's scattered doesn't mean it won't be heavy. I think some heavy downpours will be embedded in this afternoon. It's going to be more hit and miss, but definitely will be. And because the atmosphere is so tropical, have you noticed, like yesterday, hardly any rumbles of thunder? And looking at this whole radar, very few rumbles of thunder at all. I've got the lightning scan here, and the only lightning that I see is right here, just west of Corpus Christi. And that's usually the case with these tropical systems, very little lightning and thunder. Boy, it's coming down, though, heavy here in northern Mexico, my goodness. And let's see if we can get closer to where, yeah, this is where Alberto is right now, pretty much right over central Mexico. Boy, it's raining a lot in those mountains, as you would imagine. Okay, let's see here. We do have a flood watch that continues for our extreme southern counties, LaSalle County, McMullen, and Live Oak counties, and then southward from there towards Corpus Christi. Does not include Bexar County, of course. Matter of fact, we're starting to see a few breaks of the clouds with some sunshine. But again, like I was saying, as soon as that happens, clouds will build right back in. Let's see if we can get a local radar. Here's the local radar. We've got just scattered showers. I gave it a 60% chance today. I think that's pretty fair. I think that's probably what we're going to see. Let me zoom in a little bit. These showers, by the way, they are moving pretty quick. They're moving about 35 miles per hour, so they're just zooming across. The winds above are pretty strong, as you would imagine. And when it rains, I don't know if you noticed this yesterday, but when it rains, the winds pick up. And that's going to be the case today. The winds will be 15 to 20, but when you have that rain shower, it'll really bring those winds down to the surface, and the winds will gust up to around 30 miles per hour along, especially around some of the stronger showers. All right, so how much rain did we get? You know, I was talking about at the airport, we picked up 8/10 of an inch of rain. Let me zoom this back over. Okay, we picked up about 8/10 of an inch of rain. I don't know if I can move this without messing up the markers here, but let's say at the airport, 8/10. Northern Bexar County, 1/3 to maybe 1/2 an inch, and then off to the north and west, it just tapered off greatly as you moved into the hill country. You know, maybe 1/3 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. See what happens if I move that. It doesn't work out. But notice that Austin picked up 1.25 inches of rain. And that's the weird thing about tropical systems. It just depends on where the bands are as to where the heaviest rains are. From Houston over to Austin, they had quite a bit. Like I said, 1.25 inches of rain. They set a record, actually. Let's see if I can adjust this back where it needs to be. I don't know. I completely lost it. But anyway, look at these streaks here going through just south of Corpus Christi and right around Port Aransas and Rockport. Heavy, heavy rain. Let me see if I can zoom in and get you some numbers here. Yeah, these are unofficial numbers. These are radar estimates, but like 4.5 inches close to Rockport, 5 inches, and in some of the purple areas you see up to 8 inches of rainfall. So very much a tropical system, you know. Also, there was some localized flooding, as you would imagine. So pretty typical. All right, let me talk to some folks here. Hey, Mary, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Castor, looks like the storms and hurricanes are yep. You know, it's June. Once we get into June, it's that time of the year. We start seeing tropical systems. And the Gulf's going to be a little bit active for the next several weeks, but I'm going to tell you why it probably won't affect us, okay? And you're probably not going to like it. But anyway, temperature out there right now, we're at 79. Notice where there's a little more sunshine over to the east. Hallettsville's at 83, Victoria 84, Beeville's coming in at around 83. And again, I think our high temperature today will be in the mid 80s. Okay, so here's the overall pattern of what's happening. I'm going to use the European model. We've got 3 choices: Canadian, GFS, which is American, or European. Lately, I think the European has been running a little bit better and more accurate. But anyway, you see that red blob in the middle. By the way, where you see these red blobs, that's potential vorticity advection, basically where the atmosphere is spinning a little bit. And it definitely, you can see that blob there in central Mexico. Where you see the orange, that's across the eastern part of the country, big ridge of high pressure. Boy, that ridge is really expanding. And I think that's going to be the case as we get into the weekend and next week. Notice how that high is just right over Texas. And if you've lived here for any length of time, you know when we get one of these highs like that, that just means hot temperatures and our rain chances go way down. And I think that's exactly what's going to be happening. All right, let's back up a little bit. Notice a little spin in the atmosphere around the Yucatan. Can you make that out right there with those little red blobs? And the green, of course, is rain. But you can see that spin in the atmosphere. That may actually, that's got potential to develop into another tropical system, pretty much where Alberto was in the southern portions of the Gulf of Mexico this weekend. So we'll be watching that closely this weekend, but notice that high to the north over Texas and Arizona and New Mexico. With a high there like that, no matter what happens in the Gulf, it's going westbound. So again, the same places that got hit by Alberto will be hit again by whatever tropical system develops down there. Could be a tropical storm, depression, whatever. And so the effects, therefore, on Texas will be less. It's going to be the same kind of a thing, but less because we've got that big high. So I'm going to give it a 20% chance of rain for Sunday and Monday. And then look what happens as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. That's just not good. That's very bad for us. Next week, looks like it's going to be dry. Now, the European, though, has a major disturbance coming in around that high on Thursday. I'd use a little grain of salt on that, and then I'm going to let this play out all the way, and I think this ridge of high pressure may continue to be pretty strong for the rest of the month. And that's bad for our rain prospects, and it means a lot of heat. Matter of fact, I think next week we could be very close to heat advisory criteria once again with heat index values close to around 105 or so. So for today, we're going to struggle to reach the mid-80s. I think we'll probably hit it. I went 87, but 85, 86, 87, somewhere in there. That should be our high temperature with scattered rain. So we're not done with it. And again, we could probably pick up 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of rainfall. Tomorrow morning, we're back in the mid-70s. Highs tomorrow, I think we'll be closer to 90. We'll likely see more sunshine, but with this tropical air mass still left over, we will have some showers and some thunderstorms percolating with the heating of the day on Friday. It's going to be more like a 30% chance. And then Saturday, I think it's pretty much over. We'll have partly cloudy skies on Saturday, and high temperatures will be in the low 90s, and then I think mid-90s for Sunday. All right, I'm going to get to the pollen count. Before I get to the pollen count, if you're allergic to mold, you may want to have a seat. Okay, you ready? Ah, there we go. 15,000. That's a lot for mold. 15,000, very heavy. So if you're allergic to mold, that's why your allergies are acting up. Okay, here's the 7-day forecast today. 87, really it could be anywhere from 85, 86, 87 for a high today. Mostly cloudy skies, actually a lot of clouds. But I do think the sun will come out. And I'm telling you, as soon as the sun comes out, those clouds are going to really start building, and we'll have rainfall. And some of the rain could be heavy, maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch for today. Tomorrow, 90 degrees for high, and that's a steamy 90. Heat index values probably be mid to upper 90s, so a real steamy day, and then showers percolating with the heating of the day. Over the weekend, 92 Saturday, Sunday 95, heat index 101. Early next week, heat index values 104, 105, highs mid-90s, and Wednesday, high temperatures in the mid-90s with a heat index of 102. And I don't know if you caught it, but today is the first day of summer. Got my little lounge chair there, and summer. It's kind of ironic that actually 87, mid-80s, that's not bad for the first day of summer here in San Antonio. But next week, those high temperatures will be back. Okay, before I wrap up, and I don't have to run out because I don't have to do the noon show, let's just say hi here, and let's go over some questions. I didn't see the questions earlier. Cynthia, hi, how are you? Jenna says, how is Port A going to be this weekend? Well, let's take a look. Let me roll back, and we'll spend a little extra time, and we'll go over it. Okay, so Port A, I think Port A for the most part, partly cloudy this weekend. I think the water will have subsided by then. I don't know if I can move it on this map without it goofing up, no. But I can just tell you this whole weekend, let's get to Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, partly cloudy skies and maybe a real slight chance for a shower or thunder shower. And let's see what Friday's high is going to be down there. Yeah, close to 90, you know. And then I think over the weekend, probably lower to mid-90s. It's going to be hot. It's going to be steamy, and a few isolated showers. But boy, I think the weekend, if you're going down there, Jenna, I would go down to the coast, and I think you're going to be a-okay. Now there is that developing system that's going to be developing again down in the southern Gulf, western Gulf. So I suppose there probably could be some riptides. Watch out if you're going out into the water. There may be a little chop. I don't know if you're taking a boat out there. Maybe a little chop out there. The seas may be acting up a little bit. But as far as the beach, I think you're a-okay there. David, please don't try to predict. All you got is mud and Bandera. Yeah, you know, I mean, I was saying the further to the north and west you live, the rainfall is going to drop off big time. And it sure enough did. I mean, I can tell you this, from northern Bexar County to the airport, there was a big difference. Put it this way, from northern Bexar County to southern Bexar County, there was a huge difference. I know at my house, I picked up 1/3 of an inch, and that was it. And I think the hills, too, once you got into the hill country, the rain chances really dropped off a little bit. Now, but over in Austin, they picked up 1.25 inches of rain. But from the southern part of the county, like the airport picked up 0.8. The southern part of the county picked up 1.5 inches. It was only like 1/3 of an inch to 1/2 inch in the northern part of the county. And if you kept going north and west towards Bandera, yeah, you just really dropped off there. Sorry about that, David. And let's see, Grace Kelly. All right, I like the name. Possible severe storm. No severe storms, no hail, hardly any lightning, hardly any thunder. So that's one thing good about these tropical systems for us. Lightning goes way down, hail, no way. And so things usually these tropical systems that go into Mexico usually just bring us rain and a little gusty wind, and that's a good thing for us. Let's see, Johnny Isaac. Yeah, you're right. 80s, fantastic for us, right? Susan, you are welcome. And Gabrielle, thank you again. I appreciate that. And Nicole, what does next week look like? Okay, I already covered that. Nicole, it's hot. You know, partly cloudy. We're going to have that big high. It just doesn't look good. It looks like we're going back to hot. And here's the problem. Now we've picked up some rain again, and so it's hot and steamy. So we may be close to heat advisory criteria for the beginning of next week. And you are definitely welcome. What a difference a year makes. You're right, Mike. At this time last year, it was 105, and we couldn't buy a raindrop, right? But here's the problem. The rivers are still hurting. The aquifer is still bad, and that's because we're coming off a hangover from 2022 and 2023. Just really low rainfall amounts, and so it's going to take us a while to rebound. Even though rainfall this year, we're right on track where we should be. It's just we're with that hangover, and we're going to need a whole lot more. And it's just unfortunate. I mean, Medina Lake is just awful. That's the only way to put it. I can't candy coat it. Even Canyon Lake, really, really bad. And the rivers are running slow. I think the Comal River, before this rainfall, was a 4-hour float. Usually it's like an hour and a half. So that'll tell you. Let's see, long time no see. We moved to North Texas. All right, yeah, but it made me slid one for my birthday. All right, Nicole. Well, hey, yeah, I hope you have a good time. You know, I'm originally from Fort Worth. I'm not sure where you were living up there in North Texas. Estella, good morning. Nancy, let's see, is it safe to go to Rockport? Yes, I think so. I think it's going to be okay in Rockport. Go on down there. And let's see, fine is a tax for doing wrong. Tax is a fine for doing. Okay, okay. This is David's joke for today. Usually David Bellis has some really good ones. I'm gonna let you be the judge. A fine is a tax for doing wrong. A tax is a fine for doing well. Fine is a tax for doing wrong. Okay, not really a joke today. More of something to ponder on for this first day of summer, David. You always leave me with something to think about, so I really appreciate it. All right, hey, thanks everybody for streaming with us. We really appreciate it, and we got a chance for rain today to kind of recap, slight chance tomorrow, and then the heat's on for the weekend and next week. All right, thanks a bunch, and make sure and watch us at noon. I'll be on at noon, 4, 5, 6, and 10, and I won't be around tomorrow morning. I think it's Ryan Shoptaw, and I will be back for Bill Friday afternoon and evening. All right, thanks a bunch, appreciate it, and we will see you later.